summit. So how's that going to go? Here with us now, retired Marine intelligence officer and host of the Strat podcast, one of our favorite guests, Lieutenant Colonel Hal Kempfer. Thanks for being here, Hal.
Thanks, Laura.
Okay, so overnight, U.S. forces shot down these multiple Iranian attack drones headed towards the Strait of Hormuz. You know, and that comes as both sides claim progress with a peace deal is being made. But if Iran keeps threatening shipping in the Strait, couldn't that jeopardize the agreement? It sure seems like it.
Laura, it does. I mean, obviously, if you're at the cusp of a peace deal and then seeing something like this, it kind of brings everything into question. But it gets into the dynamics, and that's something that the White House, the Pentagon, U.S. Central Command, others are looking at the leadership structure, the regime structure in Tehran. There's a real schism. You know, there's General Vahidi, who's in charge of the Revolutionary Guard Corps, and those around him who are strong ideologues. They keep pushing out maximalist goals. They keep pushing out this information campaign or this informational activities where they keep talking about, we're going to control the strait. We're going to, keep the nuclear or radioactive material, uranium. We're going to do all these other things. And then there's the rest of the government, which is trying to negotiate a peace deal.
You know, and of course, we're learning that the Strait of Hormuz will be a topic of discussion at the G7 coming up, which makes sense. What do you expect from those discussions? How's it going to go? Is there going to be any headway made there?
Well, it's been on the table, and my anticipation is reopening the strait is going to stick. At this point, it'd be difficult for the Iranians to try and negotiate anything else. You got to remember, it's not just the U.S. position. This is international law. This is international maritime law. This is a internationally recognized waterway. So reopening the strait, I'm not sure about the demining activity because I'm not sure how many mines are actually in the strait. I know there's a lot been discussed about it. We've only seen one picture of a mine, and even then, that picture had a kind of, suspicious source, shall we say, and it didn't quite seem to match up. So I'm not sure. That'll be a big discussion item. Obviously, we'll put that on the Iranians, but I'm not sure if that's going to slow down once it's opened. I think there'll be a lot more flow of traffic. By the way, I think there's a lot more flow of traffic than most people realize.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we had a live cam at all times. We do watch that map as we see all of those ships go around the strait. The Trump administration says a deal, there's that map, a deal is nearly complete after more than 100 days of conflict. Hard to imagine it's been 100 days, but it has. Does this moment feel different, do you think, from the many other times we've heard about a deal being close? Because I feel like we've had this conversation before, but are we there yet, Hal?
Well, we have. I think someone was counting up. They came up with almost 40 times that President Trump has said we're getting really close to a deal. But this is different simply because of the not just what the White House is saying, but what we're hearing from the Pakistanis and specifically what we're hearing from Iran. Iran is putting out words that I would expect to hear if we were getting very close to a deal. Do I think it's going to happen this weekend on Sunday or something? I know the Prime Minister of Pakistan indicated that it could happen tomorrow. I'm a little dubious if it'll happen that fast. It'd be great if it did, but I think this next week is very possible, depending on how these follow-on negotiations go.
All right, and Trump also says that Iran's leaders have signed off on the deal, which would require Iran to give up its highly enriched uranium and accept international inspections and for the strait to be reopened. Let's listen to that together.
The whole Middle East is happy, and along beyond the Middle East, the strait will open as soon as we have it signed. It'll be soon, maybe this weekend.
And has the Supreme Leader approved this deal, sir?
I understand the answer is yes.
So what do you think finally brought Tehran to the table? A lot of people say it's because, the economy for them is really tough.
Well, the economy is really bad for Iran. I mean, we have higher gas prices and some other things, but in Iran, I mean, they're going to have a tough time getting through the summer if they don't get this thing fixed.
Yeah.
So for Iran, this is a huge issue. They're not starving, but they're running out of stuff on the stores. They just, basic life necessities are in a shortfall. So they really do need to get this. And that's something that's really weighing on the regime is, hey, we got to get this done. Otherwise, we could face an existential event. They saw what happened in January. They saw what happened in December, and they know what could happen this summer.
Yeah, and of course, it's all about nuclear weapons. Trump also says that Iran has agreed to give up its pursuit. Let's listen there.
I don't know if you heard, but we ended the war with Iran today, and they have agreed never to have a nuclear weapon, something that we We insisted on that was the whole purpose. That was 95% of it, and they've done it in the most powerful way you can do it.
The U.S. also plans to keep Iran's frozen assets restricted until it meets its commitments. And, you got to wonder if that's enough pressure to guarantee compliance at this point.
Well, I think it is, because the regime really does need that money. They're in a deficit in terms of revenue. They need the money just to keep going. So that seems to be the big stick that we have in these negotiations, is that, but they have to perform. And we keep saying you have to perform. Just saying that they don't want to pursue a nuclear weapon, they've always said they don't want to pursue a nuclear weapon. And then behind the scenes, they're pursuing a nuclear weapon. So the big thing is, I don't say trust but verify, I say verify but verify, which is we really have to see what they're doing. We have to see, are they going to let us go in there? Are they going to let us remove that enriched uranium? Are they going to let us inspect all those sites suspected of being enrichment sites, nuclear weapons development sites, whatever? Are they going to agree to all those detailed things that say they're complying? And then you look at releasing those funds. Of course, the big part is, are you really going to open the Strait of Hormuz? They've said that before too, and then they didn't open it.
Yeah, and Trump says the naval blockade in the Strait will remain in place, in fact, until a deal is signed. And reports say that U.S. Air Force planes have actually left for Europe ahead of this possible signing ceremony, which Iran now says isn't going to happen. So, I mean, you really got, it's like follow the bouncing ball. And then you've got Gulf Oil Tom's Cloza saying that shipping risks may not disappear immediately either. Yeah. Here's what he said.
I think there's a lot of reasons to be skeptical about this deal. I mean, it's a memorandum of understanding. The Strait might reopen later this month or early in July. We're still in trouble. We're still going through the safety nets, and these safety nets aren't going to work if we get to July and August.
Well, nobody likes to hear that, but we do have to deal with it. And if a deal is signed, how quickly do you think traffic through the Strait could return to normal? I don't feel like it's going to be right away.
It won't be normal, but there are certain lanes. For example, that south lane that kind of hugs Oman, that one could open pretty fast. Okay. And certainly with escorts and a lot of measures taken, they could increase the amount of flow through that. The primary lanes that go through the middle, they're going to have to do some stuff to make sure those are safe. But if the Iranian threat is gone, I think we could start seeing more traffic through that. It's not going to get to normal, but we could see a surge of activity as soon as this is signed. Although the big thing is, we talk about this like, well, it's going to be a decision that's made at the international level. This is a decision that's made at the commercial carrier level. This is a decision that's made by Lloyd's of London. When they say it's safe, when they will offer reasonable insurance rates for those ships to go through, then you're going to see a lot of traffic.
And as we know, this is a complex and layered conversation because Iran has insisted that any agreement must also address the fighting between Hezbollah and Israel. But the Prime Minister, Netanyahu, says Israel is not part of the talks. So does that create problems for the deal down the road?
Well, Israel's not part of the talks, and then the government of Lebanon is not part of the talks as well. And Lebanon has been very clear, saying, we're getting a little tired of this negotiation with Iran talking about what's happening in our country. And Lebanon, the government of Lebanon has kind of found its voice. It's taken a while, but they found their voice. They're working with Israel. They say Hezbollah is an internal Lebanese issue. Iran wants to make it part of their greater empire sort of thing. I'm hoping we can successfully push back on that. I'm hoping that in that language on no support for proxies, that kind of puts the whole issue of Hezbollah to bed. I do believe there's going to be a lot of pressure by Iran to keep that on the table. And I'm just kind of hoping we don't take a shortcut and kind of throw that in there, because that's a big issue.
All right, we're going to watch it play out together. I always appreciate you coming on the show and giving us your time. Retired Marine Intelligence Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Hal Kempfer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. And in an